You're listening to Murder Not Murdering with Erin,
and Autumn,
a true crime podcast about murder and murdering.
but we are not murderers.
And we are back at Murder Not Murdering with Erin and
Autumn, the
Autumn.
nice one.
You are not the nice one. I am the secret nice one.
You're not the secret. No, there's nothing secret about being nice.
Yes.
No.
Yes.
No.
Yes.
Guys, Erin thinks she's the nice one in the friendship between me, her, and Timmy.
Yeah, I am the nice one.
She is not the nice one.
I'm just a little more opinionated sometimes.
Mm-hmm.
But I am nice.
I mean, I wouldn't call you rude, but I would not describe you as the nice one. I would describe you as the fun one.
I think that I am definitely the fun one. I do get a lot of people. We were just talking about this. I do get a fair amount of people that say that I can be intimidating.
It's because you have RBF.
I do though, and I can't help what my face does. That's not my fault.
It's not your fault. And I mean, to be completely honest, so anyone listening that doesn't know what Erin actually looks like, has
a goddess.
Oh my God. I was actually about to pay her a compliment, and then she had to say that.
In my flannel shirt today. I've never looked better.
Erin's a very beautiful woman. And
God, thank you.
Yes. And you've always been beautiful. And Erin has these exotic eyes. And that's I think your most striking feature.
Oh,
and
exotic.
I feel like your eyes are exotic. They're
I think
really
it's the
shape and color.
It's the combination that I have such dark hair and such light colored eyes that it's striking in that way. Because that is like the thing that people say, like if they're ever not sounding conceited. I was being joking earlier, but like that's the one thing that I do think a lot of people point out. And I think it is just because my eyes are so light colored when my hair is like nearly black.
And you're the shape of them too. They're just she's very striking, but her face just looks like don't approach me.
Mm-hmm. Well, even just I heard a friend say the other day, we were having that conversation and then you were across the room and I saw your face and I was like, what do you mean my face? And he was like, yeah, everybody knows what you were thinking. And I'm like, what? But it's true. My face does not. It gives me away.
She can't hide anything. Not even like nothing. Like what she's thinking all the time.
I try to do like a perma smile or something like that, where
because when you do a perma smile, it looks like
I'm being sarcastic.
Yes, like it's forced or like, oh shit, better fix my face. But it's not natural.
No, it is not natural. But I mean, it's not like I'm sitting there brooding or anything.
No,
well, I probably am, but
I mean, sometimes yes, but like that's just your face.
It's just my face.
I can see why people think you're intimidating.
Yeah, I'm not. Somebody's like, "Are you okay?" I'm like, "Yeah, what's up?" And they're like, "Oh, you just seem like you were upset." I'm like, "I was just sitting here."
Which is funny because I'm the opposite. I don't want anyone to come up and talk to me. It makes me uncomfortable. But for some reason, everyone does.
You do. You do have one of those sharing kind faces that they're like, "Oh, weird. I can talk to her."
Yes, yeah. Like strangers, everyone. This last night,
grocery store ladies.
Yes, I was at the grocery store. For example, last night, this old woman starts coming up to me and telling me her whole effing life story and about how a confrontation she had got in on an aisle 6 or something, and I was like, I don't know this. What the hell is happening?
Well, this is why
I don't want to talk to her.
I am nice because I would have sat there and listened to this whole lady's life story and talked to her. Because I also never shut the fuck up either.
I mean, I did talk to her, but I was kind of like trying to not be like engaging, but she didn't catch any of those social cues.
I'm definitely someone that you could turn to at a bar and just be like, "Hey," and I'd be like, "Oh, hi,
Yes.
let's talk."
She loves to gab and
I'm
loves to talk to strangers.
And I am an oversharer.
Yes. Well, me,
So
I'm like, "Oh God, someone's talking to me." Oh.
I was like, "It's your choice if you want to get in on this because I will sit and talk, and I talk a lot." Like I know
Yes, she
you hear me
does.
talking on here, but I talk a lot.
A lot, a
Yeah.
lot.
I never shut the fuck up.
No, she does not. And
No.
which works because I'm okay. Like I like talking,
Yeah.
but I like talking to people I know.
Yes.
I don't
Yeah.
really like talking to strangers. Yes, I can do it. And the funny thing is that everyone says I'm so amazing at public speaking. I don't enjoy public speaking.
Yeah. I like public speaking.
So does my dad. He is obsessed with it. He will, and that's like his natural given talent. He is so good at it. And I think I inherited that from him. I'm not afraid. Like I'm not afraid to public speak.
It's just not comfortable.
I just don't, it's not something I enjoy. It's not like, woohoo, but I'll do it. And everyone's always like, wow, you're so good at it. It's not natural in my brain.
Yeah.
I'm not like, this is fun. I'm like, oh God.
I feel like just being someone who DJs and talks to crowds, it's something that I'm super comfortable with because I've done it for so long. But I enjoy being the person that brings the party, brings the energy, does all of that.
You and my dad both.
And I also that's what I love about DJing is that you've got music playing and you can watch your crowd and see what they're feeling and what they like. And then you can start building upon that. And in the moment, just going, okay, well, it seems like they're really leaning into this like 90s hip hop. Let's fucking get it. And then we'll move on to some like pop shit and move on from there. You know, it's fun to create an environment for people to have a really good time. I love that.
You're really good at it. Me, I'm naturally sound like I'm good at it, but in my soul, I'm just like, I'm not enjoying it.
In your soul, you're on the sofa watching Unsolved Mysteries.
Yes. Or doing a puzzle. Like I'm just I'm so introverted, but everyone assumes I'm an extrovert.
I get that a lot. I think a lot. I totally see. I know that with you because I've known you for 20 years. But with me, I think a lot of people assume that I'm an extrovert because when I'm out, I'm out. I'm having a good time. I'm talking to people. I'm social butterfly. But I have to then recharge for like 4 or 5 days before I can go back out in public because it just, it's not, I enjoy it. I'm having a good time, but I need to recharge my social battery before I can be out because I'll get peopled out. I'm like, okay, it's like, I feel like right now we've seen a lot of memes going around where it's like, when I hit that moment that my social aptitude ends
my
and
social
in
battery
mid-conversation,
yes.
I live
so
that.
me.
Yeah.
And I work from home, so it's actually like really easy for me to be extremely introverted.
Well, I think too, you're somebody who likes to create your home, create your space, make, take ownership of that. And, you have like, some of you don't know, Autumn has an incredible milk glass collection. And she's made this like beautiful display of it. Maybe we'll post a picture of it. But she has a beautiful display of it in her house. It's like, those are the things that bring you comfort, like those are the things that make you feel really good. In fact, when you moved into your new place, I gifted you an amazing, amazing piece of pottery.
Yes, Jonathan Adler.
Yeah, it was a Jonathan Adler jar.
Yes, and I love it.
And what did it say?
It said something on it.
What was it?
We'll just not say it on the podcast.
In case you're wondering, you can look up the Jonathan Adler jar collection, and it's amazing. It has fun. It's really fun, and it's silly.
It is fun. And it's silly, and it was so perfect. And I have it next to all of my milk glass.
Yeah, if I did not have a child that lived in my house, I would have bought. He had one that said Quaaludes on it. I would have absolutely bought that and put that out on my kitchen counter.
I love that. I mean,
it's just funny. It's kitschy,
your daughter's
and it's
getting
funny.
Old enough to where she would know it was a joke.
I know, but I'd put cookies in that, and then she'd go and take one out while people are at my house,
which would honestly be kind of funny.
And also, something you don't know is that every single week I make 300 Jello shots for my bar.
This is true.
And Lucy was on Zoom with her math tutor, and I was sitting there making Jello, and I did not realize that I was in the background. So all this woman saw is me taking a giant handle of vodka, pouring it into a bowl, stirring it, and then doing it again and again and again. I used like almost an entire gallon of vodka. So she just kept seeing me pour things and stir and pour. And also I usually have a cup of coffee, or I have like my water bottle or something. So then she sees me drinking while I'm doing all of this. I was like, oh my God, I was in the background that whole time. What does she think I'm doing?
She thinks you're making yourself some delicious drinks.
Oh my God. I just cocktail after cocktail.
That is hilarious. She's
Isn't
like,
that funny?
What kind of home does Lou live in?
Listen, she's also at one point when we first started our drag show, we had the queens used my guest room as a green room before we like figured out what we were going to do with that. And so we were like having dinner and drag queens were running through the house like, hey, honey, love you, like running down to go to the show and stuff. It's just, we live a definitely different
taking
lifestyle.
Cookies out of a jar that says Quaaludes really wouldn't be that weird.
It really wouldn't be, no. Speaking
Lou's
of,
a well-adjusted girl.
She is. And she gets a little bit of everything, We're a very open and welcoming household for everyone.
Yes, everyone is welcome in the Rhodes household.
100%. Speaking of that, this next month, which starts tomorrow, is going to be Pride Month, and that's really exciting. I think that currently that it's more important than it ever has been in recent years. I think making sure that people are visible and that people see that, people are here and there are a lot more numbers than you imagine.
Absolutely.
I don't know if you saw what happened at Cal Anderson Park Yeah, it's pretty awful.
Really awful.
Just for context, I live in the Seattle area, and Cal Anderson Park is a sacred ground for the LGBTQIA plus community. And over the last weekend, the city of Seattle approved a anti-trans rally, essentially, to be held by this Christian group from Spokane. And it escalated when the police attacked some of the counter protesters. And it's pretty intense. You can watch video of it from all different angles, so don't come for me. And there is, they knocked people to the ground and immediately started pepper spraying the crowd of people about an inch from their face. It's really intense, and it was really ugly and really awful. And the city also approved another one happening in August. So, like I said, I think it's important to be super visible. And next weekend is White Center Pride in my neighborhood. There is going to be resource tables with notaries to help people fill out their paperwork. And I think they said something like 10 plus notaries are going to be there. There's also...
I'm a notary.
Autumn is a notary as well. And there's resistance tables that will tell you about how you can lobby and work towards making sure that our city and our state stays safe. And then there's going to be beer gardens, drag performances, local artists, vendors. It's going to be incredible. That's June 7th.
Yeah, if you're local, check it out.
If you're local, take a look. It's going to be an incredible time. And we have a full-on proclamation for that to the first weekend of June every single year. So it's a kind of a special time. And I am going to make sure to include some LGBTQIA cases this next month. So it's going to be an interesting time. And if you have any suggestions or ones that you think needs to be highlighted, please send us a message on Instagram, slide into our DMs and let us know.
I know I should have done Will Hendrick this month instead.
Yeah. Actually, I feel like that case kind of like took off a little bit on our TikTok.
Yeah, it's at 2,800 views right now.
Yeah. So that's
is a lot for us. For us, that's a lot. Okay.
And do know that you'll get like a little extra content and you'll see more pictures and more interesting things if you do follow us on TikTok.
Yes,
so,
if you follow us on TikTok, mnn.pod.
And that's kind of something new to us. So please subscribe.
Yes,
that's
subscribe.
helpful.
Give us some love. Content creating is just really hard in general. So anyone, if you watch it, please like it.
Yeah,
give us a thumbs up.
It takes time and energy, and we're trying to do it, right?
We are, yes.
Yeah.
Us older millennials, we're trying here, okay?
Yeah. Elder millennials. Ew, I hate that.
I know.
The one that gets me the worst. Geriatric.
Yeah, I hate that.
Fuck off with that.
Yeah, like stop.
I'm like, I am a young, vibrant woman. How dare you?
Yeah. How freaking dare you?
Yeah. So,
are we gonna get into it?
Okay. So let's jump into the podcast. I go first this time. I feel like for a hot minute, I was kind of doing a little bit of those like 70s crimes and doing a little bit other things outside of my like kind of not thing. It's not my thing, but I do like older crimes, and I do tend to do a lot of dismemberment because that's how they got rid of bodies back then. And if you listen to the last one, there was a little bit of dissection and a little bit of
she loves the dismemberment.
I love it. That's you know what it is though, it's like early forensics. That's like how there was not, they couldn't test for things, so they would just straight up chop people up, and that was what they did to get rid of bodies, and it worked, and they got away with it a lot. So anyway, today I'm going to be doing a very late Victorian dismemberment case.
Shocker.
Yeah.
Are the way I gasped.
Can you even?
I can't even. At least I ate breakfast a little bit ago, so I think I'll be okay.
Was it beef?
No. And I did not eat beef that night either. I was like, F this. I cannot think about it.
I ruined it with my poem.
We made chicken instead.
That's hilarious. Okay, so my case today is called Dead Men Do Tell Tales. The bathtub, the barber, and the midwife. New York's most notorious torso case.
Oh my. Okay, let's get into it.
It was June 26th, 1897. One of those.
Shit.
Oh, yeah. One of those sticky New York summer mornings where the air hangs heavy and the city seems to sweat from its pores. Just before dawn, two boys were out on the East River, near East 11th Street, doing what kids do, scouting for driftwood and maybe a little trouble. But what they found floating in the water that day would change everything. It looked like a bundle at first, tightly wrapped, crudely bound. But as it bumped against the pier and began to come undone, something sickening bobbed to the surface. One of the boys, curious, nudged it with an oar.
Ew, oh God, okay.
It bobbed, then rolls, and then he sees it. A human torso.
Oh my God, okay.
No head, no limbs, no face. Just the hacked remains of what once was a man, now reduced to a gruesome puzzle. Today, we are deep diving into one of the most chilling cases in New York City's Gilded Age, the dismemberment of William Goldenseppy. A steamy love triangle gone rotten, and the barber who couldn't clean up his mess. So now, panic sets in. The boys raised the alarm, and soon, police descended on the scene. Though descended might be too generous of a word. In 1897, the NYPD was still more of a mustache and club than badge in forensics. The police haul the torso to the shore. They open the oilcloth to reveal a cleanly severed chest and abdomen. It's been carefully dismembered. Clinical. This wasn't the work of an amateur. This wasn't just a killing. It was a message. The torso is male, well-built, and pale. Investigators believed the limbs were sawed off with precision. Perhaps by someone who had medical training, or, as one detective suggested, a barber. A crowd gathered quickly. Word of a trunk murder spread wildly. The press, never far behind a good corpse in those days, swarmed in, and they were ravenous. Remember, this was the heyday of journalism that's based on sensationalism and crude exaggeration, commonly called yellow journalism. Ironically, something we are seeing more and more these days. But this was the age of Hearst versus Pulitzer, where a mutilated body was like gold. The New York World called it the most ghastly mystery of the year. The Journal was more direct, butchered in cold blood. And here's the kicker: that wasn't even the only body part they would find. Over the next 48 hours, the East River turned into something like a grim scavenger hunt. First a leg, then another. An arm was discovered stuffed into a box near the Bronx. And days later, a decapitated head covered in plaster of Paris and bandages was found near Queens. Each piece was tagged and carted off to the morgue. But the question lingered on in the hot, putrid air. Who was this man? And who hated him enough to carve him up? At first, the police had nothing. No ID, no fingerprints. Those weren't even a thing yet. Just a severed torso and a lot of blood in the water. The one lead that they did have? A skillful butchery. The limbs had been removed cleanly, not torn, not hacked, but sawed at the joints like a skillful hand had done it. This wasn't the work of a crazed lunatic in the night. No, this was someone who knew what they were doing. Someone calm, someone methodical. As the police fumbled and the headlines screamed, the mystery began to churn with rumors. Was this a mob hit? A jilted lover? A jealous husband? Or something darker, something twisted and salacious? It wouldn't be long before the press would spin their own wild theories, even naming the mystery man before the police would confirm it. Initially, the police were not inclined to pursue the case. They had chalked it up to medical students fooling around with cadavers. They basically didn't want to deal with it because they thought that they wouldn't be able to solve it. So there was no crime scene, there was no clear identity on the body, and it was the newspapers that really solved this case. The body parts were wrapped in a fairly distinct type of oilcloth, so they sent reporters around to check out every possible dry goods store that might have sold that particular oilcloth. But along the way, they did break a lot of laws and professional ethics. This was a race for headlines. The New York World managed to provide the first big break because they knew that the found man had hands that were smooth, so they weren't rough like a laborer. They scouted bathhouses to see if any employees had gone missing. They figured it out and printed the dead man's name in the newspapers before the police identified the body.
Oh my, that's not cool.
Well, it was different times. When the police reassembled the pieces, they identified the victim as William Goldenseppe, a German masseur and a boarder at 308 East 85th Street. And that address, that's where this story really heats up. Augusta Knack was no stranger to scandal. She was a midwife, a madam, and now possibly a murderer. And behind the scenes, a scandalous little secret was about to bubble to the surface. She had been married before to Mr. Knack, but they split over his heavy drinking. They had 2 children, a boy and a girl, but sadly, both passed away at young ages. They described her as a midwife, or as they referred to her back then, a so-called lady doctor, which meant she often performed illegal abortions.
Okay.
She also ran a boarding house and slept with at least one of her tenants, William Goldenseppe.
Good to know.
Their relationship was volatile, passionate, and toxic. Witnesses said that they argued constantly. Some say that Goldenseppe struck her. Others claimed that she threatened him with a knife. But Augusta wasn't exactly helpless. She had other suitors, one in particular, a handsome young barber named Martin Thorne. And Thorne, he hated William with a passion. The two men came to blows more than once. Golden Seppi had reported moving out of Augusta's place in June. She claimed they weren't getting along. But she never let go. She stalked him. She wrote threatening letters and even broke into his room. But he moved away, so everything was fine now, right?
Sounds legit. Yeah, I would agree.
Augusta was finally starting to seem like she was moving on with Martin Thorne. By mid-June, Augusta and Thorne began looking for a quiet, secluded house to rent, just for a few days. They settled on a small cottage in Woodside, Queens, away from the city, quiet, and most importantly, easy to clean. Neighbors reported seeing Augusta and Thorne hauling bundles wrapped in oilcloth and twine. One neighbor remembered hearing a man's screams. Another saw a hand poking out from a garbage bin. One swore they heard chopping sounds. Another claimed to have seen Thorne dragging something heavy. Bloodstains were found. The bathwater was spotted, drained into a nearby cesspool, and it ran red. By July 4th, the police had a suspect, Martin Thorne. He was arrested in Coney Island, drunk, disoriented, and sunburned. When they brought him in, he folded almost immediately. His version of the story went something like this. Augusta had lured William to the cottage under the pretense of reconciliation. As William undressed for the bath, Thorne crept up behind him and shot him in the head. Then, with Augusta's help, he dismembered the body in the bathtub. They wrapped the parts in oilcloth and carted them off to the river and scattered them around like trash. But Augusta, she denied everything. She claimed that she rented the house at Thorne's request, and she had no idea that a murder was in the works. She insisted she loved Golden Seppi. And the press, oh, they loved her. She became known as the Widow Knack, mysterious, enigmatic, and possibly dangerous, but possibly innocent. The papers called it the Torso Mystery, and New York was obsessed. All the papers were covering the story, but the two that went head to head and kind of defined it were William Randolph Hearst's New York Journal and Joseph Pulitzer's New York World. It was crazy, and a frenzy took over. Pulitzer and his people offered a reward to readers for clues. They even stole evidence from one of the crime scenes. When they found out the likely murder scene, they actually gouged out a piece of the floorboard and had it tested for blood. This is the newspaper, not the police. One of their reporters, when he found out the possible identity of the victim, actually visited the house before police did and talked to Augusta. He was posing as a soap salesman and gave her a sample to try out in her kitchen. While she was in the kitchen, he stole a photo off her mantle that he is suspected was William Golden Seppi. And the New York World was pretty impressive too in what they were willing to do. But Hearst managed to top them every step of the way. When they got word that Augusta's apartment could possibly be the crime scene, Hearst personally went over to the apartment. Her lease had just run out, and he went to the landlord of the building and offered him an immense sum of money to lease out the crime scene, and then proceeded to only allow Hearst reporters and police into the apartment. How diabolical was this? He actually stationed reporters at the entrances of the building to keep out the other newspapers. He had staff, no, Autumn, listen. He had staff go to all of the local payphones and cut the cords. So when they got to the scene and they found out they could not go in, they would go to the payphones to call their newsroom, and they would just pick up receivers with the cords hanging down. The Journal certainly did not stop there. There was a rumor that a missing head had been encased in plaster of Paris and thrown into the East River, so the New York World actually hired a deep-sea diver to walk around on the bottom looking for it or looking for other body parts. They were seen dragging something aboard their boat, and the New York Herald who also had reporters out there, accused them of hiding the head in their newsroom. Because of this, the world's newspaper actually got raided at 1 a.m. by police, and it turned out that they actually had a large chunk of barnacles and not a head.
Okay. What the hell? How do you not know the difference is what I need to know.
Well, they saw it from afar. They saw them haul something up, and so they assumed that that's what they had. They were just trying to throw them off the scent.
Got it.
By the
I
time
feel like you would have been like super into this case back then.
I'm super into it now.
No, I know, but I mean, like, you would have been one of the people like trying to see.
I'd have been looking at the papers.
Yes.
Yeah. By the time they got to the trial of the century, this case was a national obsession. By the fall of 1897, the case of William Golden Seppe's murder had become more than just a crime story. It captivated people with the salacious love triangle, the severed body parts, the mysterious midwife and her barber accomplice. Every sordid detail splashed across front pages from coast to coast. Headlines read, "Dissected by Love" in the New York Evening Journal. "Murder in the Name of Passion" in the Sun. The papers
Why am I laughing? Is this so fucked up?
I don't know. The papers were sending reporters constantly into the jail. They found out from one of the other prisoners that Augusta was trying to send a letter to Martin Thorne. They were both in the same jail. She was using what's known as a trustee, which is another prisoner that the warden gave special privileges to because they were nonviolent and the most trustworthy of the inmates. They also let these people like leave and come back. Anyway, the letter Augusta gave him was hidden inside a sandwich, and she instructed him to take it to Martin Thorne. Instead, he waited until the warden had sent him out on an errand outside of the jail, and he went straight to the Journal's newsroom and gave them the letter. They then copied it and then allowed the trustee to bring it back to Martin Thorne, who destroyed it. It was like hacked emails or voicemails, but in 1897. Wow. And when the trial of Martin Thorne began at the Queens County Courthouse, crowds swelled around the building like it was a Broadway premiere. Because nothing sells papers or draws a crowd like a good old-fashioned torso murder. Martin Thorne stood trial first, a gaunt, twitchy man with a drooping mustache and the look of someone unraveling by the hour. The evidence was damning. The rented house, the matching twine, the confession. They also heard from a former coworker that Thorne told him that he had taken a course in surgery in Germany. The prosecution painted him as a jealous monster, lured into murder by his obsession with Augusta Knack. And they said that he had been the one who tricked William Golden Seppe into visiting the cottage in Woodside, the remote little place that Augusta had conveniently rented under a fake name. And there, they said, Thorne killed William and dismembered the body, packed the parts into trunks and boxes, and began a multi-day dump across the East River. This was not a clean crime. Modern forensics would have had a field day with this. Evidence was everywhere, and there were so many bloodstains. But what truly sealed Thorne's fate was Augusta's testimony. Oh yes, Augusta Knack turned state's evidence. The woman who'd orchestrated the whole affair, who rented rooms, planned the timeline, bought the trunk, used a fake name for the cottage, for God's sake, suddenly cast herself as just an innocent bystander. She sat on the witness stand in a stiff black dress, veiled in mourning, claiming she had nothing to do with the murder. She merely witnessed it.
I can go with that.
What a sweet little lady.
Oh, so sweet, so innocent.
According to her, Martin Thorne did it all out of jealousy, madness, and devotion. She had tried to stop him, she claimed. She was terrified. She was loyal. She was helpless. But the jury did not buy her performance.
Damn, I wonder why.
They saw a woman who had moved bodies, lied to police, and manipulated two men into mutual destruction. Still, it was Martin Thorne who was on trial. And after just 4 hours of deliberation, the jury returned with a verdict: guilty. And on December 10th, 1897, Martin Thorne was sentenced to death. Augusta reportedly wept when the verdict was said, and she was quoted in the New York Daily Tribune saying, "I'm sorry for him. I pitied him. My conscience is clear, though. I have told the truth, and I am willing to suffer the consequences. I'm anxious to have my case disposed of." Martin Thorne claimed he loved Augusta until the day that he was electrocuted at Sing Sing prison the following summer. He went to the electric chair on August 1898. The press said that he died calm and composed, but rumor had it he was screaming before the switch was flipped. As the cell doors slammed and shut behind him, all eyes turned back to Augusta Knack. Would she stand trial next? Hell yes. But would justice finally catch up to the black-veiled midwife? Not exactly. She was charming on the stand, calculated. She cried at the right times and smiled at the jury. Her defense argued that she was manipulated, a woman used by two violent men. The prosecution claimed that she masterminded the whole thing. And in a stunning twist, Augusta struck a plea deal before the end of the trial. She admitted to only being an accessory after the fact, helping to cover up the crime but not committing it. For her role in one of the most brutal, widely covered murders of the Gilded Age, Augusta Knack was sentenced to 15 years hard labor for her part in the crime, but she only served 10 years in prison. She was released in 1907, and then she vanished. No one knows what became of her. Some say that she went under a new name. Others claim that she took up midwifery again, this time in secret. A few whispers insisted that she left behind a diary, though it may exist, but it's never been found. What we're left with is a blood-soaked mystery, a case that captivated a city, birthed 1,000 headlines, fueled newspaper rivalries, and left behind a question that lingers to this day. Who really held the saw? Was it the lovesick barber that snapped? Or the cunning midwife who never got blood on her hands, but somehow pulled every string? From the East River to the courtrooms of New York, from the tabloid frenzy to the electric chair, the story of Augusta Knack and William Golden Sippy is more than just a tale of crime. It's a story about power, about obsession, and what people are willing to do for love, for revenge, or for just escape. So now I will remind you to stay curious, stay safe, and stay out of love triangles. My sources were The New Yorker, On the Media Podcast, the Library of Congress, NPR, Historical Crime Detective, and the book Murder of the Century by Paul Collins.
FML. Erin, what the hell?
I feel like I just keep shocking you every week.
Yes, nightmares are going to haunt my dreams. But you know what? I'm going to get you back with the story I'm going to tell, because wait till you see the picture of this person. It will haunt your life.
Oh, well, I will definitely. Luckily, in this case, there's not photographs, but there's a lot of courtroom sketches. So I'll be making sure to post those. It's kind of crazy because there's so many newspaper articles. I literally read probably 40 or 50 newspaper articles from
Jesus.
1897. It was crazy. It was everywhere, and all the papers covered it, but they had loads of sketches. So you get to see what they looked like and how they were. Wait till you see the sketches of all of the characters. I also love this era because it's like a big mustache time. And I think, it's one of those times where you can really tell what era of time it is based upon their clothing and everything. But Augusta 110% orchestrated the whole thing.
I believe that as well.
She used a false name and rented a cabin for a few days, bought the oilcloth, bought the twine, did all of that. They have all of that evidence.
Hashtag innocent until proven guilty.
She was.
I know.
Originally the maximum amount of time they could have done on her sentencings was 20 years, but they took pity on her, gave her 15, and she only served 10.
Oh.
For hacking up a man.
I mean, honestly, every time I watch Unsolved Mysteries, which is every day of my life, that's not an exaggeration.
It's shocking what people get away with.
And they'll be like, oh, yeah, they were convicted and they've served their time and they've been let out after killing like 7 people. I'm like,
it's insane.
What? There are people doing time for smoking marijuana longer than these people that have killed 7 people.
For real.
So, I mean, what the fuck?
Like Martin Thorne was sentenced to death, but he for sure was the person, I think, that attacked William. I think he's the one that definitely cut him up because he had the training for that. But she's the one that orchestrated all of this. She's the one that invited him to come over.
Like, he wouldn't have had a reason to cut this person up if it wasn't for her.
But you know what? Till his dying day, he still said that he loved her.
Of course he did. These people are crazy.
Bonkers. Okay, Autumn, I'm ready for you to lay on this horrific case that you're going to shock me with.
I don't know if it's so shocking, but the guy, when I send you his picture, I just have to set the scene. This man, anyone, have you ever, this is going to sound stupid, but I have to ask you, have you seen the movie Men in Black?
Yeah, of course.
And you know the beginning scene with the farmer Earl, and the alien comes in and he like takes
and
his body and he's like a corpse walking around with an alien inside of him.
Yeah,
this man could be his doppelganger.
Really, like Vincent D'Onofrio. That's the name of the actor.
I love him
the
like zombie looking face.
Yeah, I loved him in Law and Order. But yeah, no, that moment where he grabs his face and like rearranges it, like snaps it. Ugh, that's what he looks like.
I just sent you a picture.
Oh God. Okay. Let's see. You are not wrong.
I know.
I've actually seen this picture.
Yes, you have.
And I've also seen it like in a meme.
Yes, you have.
Okay, I'm excited.
So here we go.
He's definitely that's a nightmare of a face. Very haunting looking.
It sure is.
All right, I'm ready.
So I don't have a name for this one.
Okay.
I'm just going to get right into it.
Do it.
You ever pass a stranger on the road and wonder what just happened in their life or what they might be running from? April 15th, 1990, Easter Sunday, a couple out for a drive in Michigan spots a van speeding down a quiet back road. At first, it's nothing, just a flash of metal and a blur of motion. But within minutes, they'll realize they've seen something far more disturbing, something that would land them in the middle of a murder investigation and connect them to one of the most chilling domestic violence cases this country has ever seen. This is the story of Dennis DePue, and it doesn't end quietly. Dennis and Marilyn DePue had been married for 18 years. They were the kind of couple you might not think twice about. Dennis worked as a property assessor. Marilyn was a guidance counselor at Coldwater High School in Michigan. They had 3 kids, a house, a life that from the outside might have seemed stable, routine. But people close to Marilyn knew the truth. She was unhappy, had been for a long time. Dennis had grown distant, withdrawn, angry. She once told friends that he was trying to ruin her life, that he wouldn't let her make decisions on her own, and maybe most heartbreaking of all, he believed she was turning their children against them. In 1989, Marilyn filed for divorce. 18 years of marriage, gone. She needed out. And in December of that year, it was official. Dennis didn't take it well. He was granted visitation rights every other weekend. But their kids, they didn't want to go with him. Not really. He had access to the guest house, which he claimed he needed for work. But Marilyn suspected otherwise. She believed he was using it to keep tabs on them. She eventually changed the locks. But none of it was enough to keep him out. April 15th, 1990. It was Easter. One of those soft spring days when families gather. But for the DePues, it would be a day that shattered everything. Dennis showed up to pick up his 2 youngest kids for a scheduled visit. His daughter, Julie, had already said no, she didn't want to go. Their son, Scott, hesitated too. He didn't want to get in the van. And that hesitation, it set Dennis off.
I don't like any of this.
No, it's honestly, I mean, if
Like,
the
if the
kids don't
kids
even
don't
like
want
the
to
dad,
go, yeah, if they don't
like-
want to go, I get that it's like usually court ordered or whatever.
right? But
I'd be like, the kids don't want to go.
no, and
Ugh.
for it seems like for good reason.
Yeah.
Something in Dennis snapped. Inside the house, with his children watching, Dennis attacked Marilyn. He threw her down the stairs. At the bottom, he didn't stop. He kept beating her. The kids were screaming, begging him to stop. Their oldest daughter, Jennifer, ran to a neighbor's house and called the police.
Good.
Dennis, meanwhile, picked Marilyn up. Her body was broken and she was bleeding. He told the kids he was taking her to the hospital. He wasn't. Later that afternoon, a couple named Ray and Marie Thornton were out for a Sunday drive along Snow Perry Road near Coldwater. Peaceful, open countryside. They weren't thinking about violence or blood or anything like that. I mean, why would they be thinking of those things on a normal, like, Easter Sunday? I don't know. Until they saw the van. It sped past them. License plate started with GZ. Just something Marie happened to notice. And that should have been the end of it. But minutes later, they passed an abandoned school. And what Marie saw made her blood run cold. A man hauling a bloody sheet behind the building. Same van, same guy. They kept driving, shaken. But before they could get far, the van was behind them, riding their bumper, pressuring them. It felt like a warning. Eventually, they turned off. The van pulled over too. Ray and Marie circled back, and that's when they saw him, changing the license plate. There was blood on the door. It was real. All of it. They called the police. That bloody sheet, they found it stuffed into an animal hole near the school. Tests later confirmed it was Marilyn's blood. And the tire tracks, a match for Dennis's van.
No way.
Mm-hmm.
What a
so
monster.
shocking, honestly, though. But still, no Marilyn. That night, the search went statewide, then national, and the next morning, a highway crew in Bethel Township, about 13 miles away, discovered her body. Dumped on a deserted back road, shot once in the back of the head. She never made it to the hospital. Dennis never intended to take her there. In the days that followed, Dennis disappeared. But he didn't go quietly. He mailed 17 rambling letters to family and friends.
Oh my God.
Postmarked from Virginia, Iowa, Oklahoma. And it was like he was chasing ghosts across state lines. In the letters, he tried to explain himself, justify Marilyn's death.
There is no way you could explain that.
No, I mean, his children
Nor
were
that
witnesses.
family would be like, okay.
Right. She deserved it. Like, oh, come back, Dennis. He framed himself as a victim, a misunderstood man pushed too far. But nothing he wrote changed what he had done. Nearly a year later, Dennis was featured on an episode of Unsolved Mysteries, March 20th, 1991. And that same night, someone watching would recognize him. A woman in Texas, we'll call her Mary, came home to find her boyfriend, Hank Queen, acting strange. His van, usually tucked away in the garage, was parked outside. He claimed his mother was sick and that he had to leave immediately.
Oh, he's gone on the run.
Yes. He asked her to make sandwiches for the road, gave her step-by-step directions to keep her busy, distracted. What she didn't know was that Unsolved Mysteries was airing at that exact moment, and on it, Dennis DePue's face. His van, his crime. She believes he knew the episode was airing and that he deliberately kept her in the kitchen so she wouldn't see it.
100%.
By the time the show ended, he was gone. Mary had her suspicions, enough that she had once hired a private investigator, but that night confirmed everything. One of her friends called the tip line and gave them the Texas plates on his van. 4 hours
later. She had suspicion and hired a private investigator before she broke up with him?
They never broke up.
Oh, no.
She literally was still with him while he's packing his bags, telling her to make sandwiches and leave while Unsolved Mysteries was playing in the background.
I don't like that.
No. 4 hours later, Louisiana State Police spotted his van. Dennis fled. He led officers on a 15-mile high-speed chase, blasting through 2 police barricades. Deputies were ordered to stop the van, if necessary, to shoot out the tires. And when they finally did, when the back tires gave out, Dennis's van rolled to a stop on the side of the road. Then came silence. He fired 2 shots through the windshield at deputies and another through the side window. And then one final shot. Dennis DePue turned the gun on himself.
No.
He died alone, in the dark, surrounded by flashing lights and twisted metal. It was around 4 a.m.
Oh, that makes me so mad.
He was the first fugitive on Unsolved Mysteries to take his own life. Sometimes people want control more than they want love, more than they want peace. Dennis couldn't control his marriage or his wife or his children. So he did the only thing he knew. He tried to erase what he couldn't dominate. But what he left behind was something no one could forget. 3 children, a family torn apart, a woman who tried again and again to protect herself and her kids, only to be failed by the very system meant to keep her safe. And a van, just a van on a country road, driven by a man who thought he could outrun what he'd done. But the truth has a way of catching up. It always does. My sources were Unsolved Mysteries, Unsolved Mysteries Wiki Fandom, and Murderpedia. And the thing about this story that you probably have seen the memes about is because the movie Jeepers Creepers, the opening scene was based on the beginning scene of what happened when the Thorntons had seen the van, and then the van chases them and tries to give them a warning.
Ugh.
Honestly, this case pissed me off because he didn't get real justice.
There's no justice, yeah.
The coward that he was. And the fact that he killed the mother of his children and then killed himself, not that I would want him to raise those children, but the trauma that those fucking poor children have, like, are you kidding me?
Well, not only do they have to come to grips with the fact that their mom was killed brutally, but then it was done by their father.
Right, who then ran like a fucking coward, started a whole new life, and then killed himself.
hate that. I'm so mad that he got away with it, essentially.
Me too. Honestly, he never really suffered for his actions.
No.
So that was my story.
Well, way to leave us on a high there, Autumn.
I know.
You know the
and
murder
don't you
high.
worry, everyone. You will see exactly the creepy picture that I showed Erin.
Oh yeah, he's haunting.
I mean, truthfully, he is haunting. And I'm not trying to just.
I think
the
also
woman,
too,
the lady didn't. They looked like kind of like siblings.
I don't know about that, but he definitely, like, also in the picture, his head is tilted a little forward, but his eyes are looking directly at you, so it feels
It's
like
it's
like
intense.
it feels like literally like a horror movie promo photo.
Uh-huh.
It's because that tilted forward with the eyes directly forward, it's no, that's a see you in your nightmares moment.
I just thought it was kind of a interesting. I mean, I've heard the story over and over, and I've obviously seen it on Unsolved Mysteries a handful of times. And it's not really widely known. I think the
picture's more widely known than the actual story that goes along with it. So it was
kind of hard to find there wasn't a lot of articles either. So I had to really rely on the information I received.
Yeah. I love
Unsolved
Murderpedia.
Mysteries and like Murderpedia and the Wiki fandom and all that stuff. But man.
Yeah, that's a brutal one.
It's awful.
Luckily, I stuck with something that was so chill.
It was so chill. Like, what was I doing coming in with this like horrific situation? And yours was just so pleasant.
Just a little hacking. It's fine.
Oh no.
That's what we do. Well, that was an interesting roller coaster though. In your case.
That it was wild ride.
Yeah. I can't believe I think we did one a while back too where a woman who was married to a man that was seen on Unsolved Mysteries. It was the chef. Actually, I did that for it was like a big episode that we did. Sean Paul Lanier, I think, was the one that I did. And his wife, same thing. She, one of her friends spotted him on Unsolved Mysteries, told her about it, and then she's worked with police and got evidence for them.
I know. Wild. One day, every time, I have to say, we got a new robot vacuum that vacuums and mops, and I'm just obsessed with it. And our old one, Dustin had named Vac Efron, but the new one is named Robert Vac.
Oh, that's like a good
Robert
one.
Stack. I'm just like, my obsession. I think I need to start Addicts Anonymous or something for Unsolved Mysteries because I think I might be at that level.
I think so.
Maybe I should start a fan club and be the president.
These are choices that you might make. Yeah.
Yep.
I don't know that I will be in your fan club.
Well, I'm not asking you. You're not invited.
Gee, thanks. You can't sit here.
You can't sit here. You have to sit a dismemberment club or something.
I don't need to start any clubs. And I sure as heck wouldn't start a dismemberment club. Jesus Christ.
I'm just throwing out things I thought you might like.
Anyways, if you do want to see more of these cases or the people that were involved, please do check out our Instagram page at Murder Not Murdering, and also our TikTok, which is mnm.pod. And you will see more and more about this because I think both of us have some visually stimulating material for this one. And we will see you next week. Subscribe, comment, like, share with your friends, etc., etc. Thank you so much for listening to us.
Yes. Thank you.
And we will see you next week. Bye.
Bye.